What's going on, bottom line viewers? It's Mitch back here with another NFL rankings video. The 2020 NFL schedule has been released. It's now time for me to rank the very best primetime games. I've ranked Thursday night football. I've ranked Monday night football. Now it's time for Sunday night football. The best television there is. The best matchups. The top ratings for the NFL. That means the very best football. Let me give you my worst matchup all the way to my best matchup for Sunday night football for the 2020 NFL season. Before I do, Gronk spike the like button, subscribe to the Bottom Line View for more NFL videos just like this, and comment below your opinion. What is your favorite Sunday night football matchup of the 2020 NFL season? And let me know if your team is going to win their Sunday night football matchup or matchups in the 2020 season. Ranking in last for Sunday night football for the 2020 schedule is the Tennessee Titans traveling to the Green Bay Packers and Lambeau Field in week number 16. Now, on paper, this actually seems like a decent game. The Titans, the Packers, two teams that could be in playoff contention. I don't think either of these teams are going to be as good as we think they're going to be this year. I think they're going to be borderline playoff teams, but not top tier playoff teams. And in week number 16, I want to see a little bit more bad blood and top tier teams going head to head. Yes, Matt LaFleur, Tennessee, I get that connection there. But I just don't see the bad blood. I don't see the rivalry here. I don't see these two teams trying to go out there and just absolutely brutalize each other. And that's what I want to see on Sunday Night Football. So it's not a bad matchup by any means. Both pretty good teams. And of course, Aaron Rodgers and Lambeau is always pretty on Sunday night. But it's just not the most exciting to me. In second to last, week number 12, it is the Chicago Bears versus the Green Bay Packers. Another game in Lambeau Field, back-to-back, bottom two games. Little weird because I love Lambeau Field on Sunday night, as I've already said. But the Bears, I just don't think are going to be great. And I just don't think these games are ever that exciting. Like, the Packers and the Bears, there are a couple of games that are just very dull. And then at the end, maybe they get a little bit exciting. There's a big player, all that. But they're typically very defense-first games. And fans are usually complaining about how there's no offense. And that's probably the way that these games are going to go this season between the Bears and the Packers. And in week 12, there's not a lot on the line for either team because it's like at that point in the schedule where we're not quite at the playoffs and we're not quite at the end of the year where everything matters that much. But week number 12 is like, okay, you could lose and drop this game and it won't really matter that much. And for the Bears, I think they're already going to kind of be pretty bad. So I just don't really see the intrigue here that much, even though this is a rivalry, maybe the oldest rivalry in the NFL. I just don't think it's really an exciting football matchup. At number 14, the Dallas Cowboys at the LA Rams. This is the week 1 matchup on Sunday Night Football. And I think what kind of holds this matchup back for me, other than the fact that it's week 1 and you're going to be excited no matter what, whatever the matchup is, I'm not excited about the Rams this year. I'm not excited to watch a Jared Goff-led average football team. I just don't think the Rams are going to be that great. I think they're going to take a step or two back. And yeah, the Cowboys are exciting. I think they're going to be super exciting, especially week 1 with the questions surrounding Dak Prescott's contract, if he's going to have that contract or not. And there's going to be all that storyline and seeing CeeDee Lamb in the uniform for the first time and seeing this offense for the first time. That's all exciting to me. But in terms of the Rams, and yeah, new stadium, I get it. They want to break it in with a boom. But to me, the Rams are just not exciting right now. Unless Jalen Ramsey fights somebody, then I'll be excited. But if that doesn't happen, I think this is just an average football game with a new stadium. At number 13, the LA Rams come in here once again, going to San Francisco, week number 6. The 49ers, the Rams, they've had some really good football games over the last 2 to 3 seasons, ever since Shanahan and McVay were brought in as coaches. So I like that. as a potential intriguing matchup, and that's what puts it ahead of the Cowboys game and the Rams game. But you already know how I feel about the Rams. I just don't find them to be overly exciting in 2020. Yes, the 49ers are exciting. They're not as exciting to watch, I would say, as the Cowboys, but I think the intrigue lies where it's an NFC West matchup. These two teams know each other well, which will make it a very close, competitive game. It always goes down to the wire, and I just love the McVay-Shanahan rivalry they have going. So that's why it's here, one spot ahead of the other Rams game versus the Cowboys at number 13. At number 12, the Minnesota Vikings travel to Seattle in week number 5. This game is kind of exciting, but also I could see it being kind of boring, and maybe that's just me thinking back to the games they've already played the last couple of years where these games just weren't very fun. Like, these games are typically run the ball, defense, some wacky turnovers, and then the team that makes the play at the end ends up winning, and it's usually Seattle. And because this game's in Seattle, it'll probably be Russell Wilson doing something ridiculous, and they'll end up winning the game. With these two coaches, the way that they coach football, both of these teams, their ceiling for potential amazing entertainment is taken down like 3 different notches. And when they face each other, it just makes for a slugfest type of football game where neither team is trying to make a mistake. And to me, that's not great television for Sunday night. It's still two good teams, so I'll take it, but it's not like the most entertaining football. At number 11, week number 11, it is the Kansas City Chiefs going to Vegas to play the LA Raiders. Now, that is the main reason this is exciting. Patrick Mahomes in Vegas, the stories that may come out the night before versus John Gruden's Raiders, and the Raiders and John Gruden getting hyped up for this game. I just think it's going to be really awesome. And the fans, if there are any, is going to be like crazy. I think there's going to be a show. Sunday Night Football in Vegas? Are you kidding me? That's just going to be like so exciting. And plus, it's the Super Bowl champs and the high-flying offense. And the Raiders added some high-flying pieces as well. This could be a firework show offensively. So I'm excited for this one. I think this is kind of an underrated game at number 11. At number 10, it is the New England Patriots traveling to Seattle in week number 2 on Sunday Night Football. Now, this game, yes, doesn't have Tom Brady, but it still has Bill Belichick versus Russell Wilson. That is fun just by itself. I don't care. This defense versus Russell Wilson, that in Seattle, which Seattle's a pretty awesome stadium. I love the way it looks at night, the lighting, all that's really exciting. The whole Pete Carroll Super Bowl 49, hand it to Lynch, don't hand it to Lynch, Malcolm Butler interception, rematch for the, I think, 3rd time. This game just has some coaching storylines, some quarterback defense storylines, and we're going to get to see Stidham for the first time on primetime, so that's kind of cool. At number 9, the Denver Broncos at the Kansas City Chiefs, week number 13, Sunday night. Denver versus Kansas City. Why I have this so high in Arrowhead is at week number 13, if the Broncos are as good as people think they can be, this is going to be like their measuring stick game of seeing how good they really are in terms of the elite of the NFL and AFC. And if they can potentially challenge the Chiefs for the playoffs, or for the division, I should say. Because week 13, at that point in the schedule, you're not all the way to clinching the division, but it would be very close to the Chiefs looking like they're the dominant team in the division. But if it's close in the standings, this game could be really, really big for both teams. So I could see this one being very exciting. Andy Reid versus Vic Fangio, offense versus defense. The new Denver defense, what they brought in with Jarrell Casey. The offense is going to be a lot more exciting and be able to potentially score points toe-to-toe with Mahomes. And then you get to see, okay, how good is Drew Lock in Arrowhead? That's also exciting. So at number 9, the Broncos versus the Chiefs. At number 8, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers go to Vegas to play the Raiders in week number 7. I already said, okay, Vegas, Sunday Night Football, that was the Chiefs game. That's going to be fun, a ton of fun. But now you mix in that John Gruden was the coach of the Bucs in a Super Bowl where they defeated the Raiders. Yeah, that's kind of cool history right there. Plus, you have Tom Brady going to Vegas and all that, and the rumors during the offseason that he could have been their next quarterback. That's also pretty cool. And again, the Bucs on prime time, like, yeah, that's going to be awesome. Gronk spikes for everybody in week number 7. Number 8 is the Bucs, the Raiders. At number 7, I have week number 14. This is a game that was awesome last year. The Steelers and the Bills. The Bills this time will be hosting the Steelers. Last time it was in Pittsburgh. It was also on Sunday night. I believe it was a flexed game on the schedule. I do remember doing a live stream for that. Maybe I'll even do a live stream for this one. But this game, I think, just two awesome defenses. And we saw that last year. Two defenses that can make this a grueling football game. But then you also throw in Big Ben Roethlisberger. How may that change this game in this matchup? But you also throw in Stephon Diggs. I think these are the two teams in the AFC that are like that notch below the Chiefs and the Ravens for contending for the AFC crown. So I really think this is a good matchup in week 14. At number 6, the Baltimore Ravens go to New England in week number 10. Lamar Jackson, for the first time, will go to New England to play the Patriots. And week 10, you never know what the weather's going to be like. It could potentially be snowy. It could be rainy. It could be muggy. All of that jazz. You have Lamar Jackson versus Bill Belichick for the second time. You know, in the back of Belichick's mind, he lost that matchup the first time, and he doesn't want to lose it again. And at this point in this schedule, I do believe the Patriots will at least be competitive, if not trying to vie for that playoff position. And they'll be trying to fight for every victory, and they'll be in full underdog mode versus the Ravens at home on a Sunday night. I think this game will be really, really entertaining, no matter how good New England actually is, because I think there is that possibility that Belichick tries to get that upset. Either way, though, this is the AFC elite and the future versus the AFC's past. We'll see how it all shakes down. A great offense, a great defense. Week number 10, number 6. At number 5, week number 4, it is the Eagles versus the 49ers. There isn't really any sexy storyline for this game. It's just two really good teams, honestly. And I want to see the Eagles pass rush on one side versus the San Francisco pass rush on the other side, because these are two of the most dominant defensive lines in the league. I think both teams, they really pride themselves in winning the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball. You have two coaches who aren't afraid of doing crazy stuff. Doug Peterson, Kyle Shanahan, two creative, bold coaches. Two of the best tight ends in the NFL in Ertz and in Kittle. At number 5, I have the Eagles and the 49ers. At number 4, it is Aaron Rodgers going to the Superdome to take on Drew Brees in a battle of the Packers and the Saints. This is week number 3, early in the season. Just 2 weeks after Brady and Brees, we're going to get Rodgers and Brees. Thank you, Sunday Night Football. I love it. These two teams were in the playoffs last year, both very competitive. I think this game will just be a lot of fun, and of course, the storyline is already there. You have LaFleur, who's trying to be the next Sean Payton. You have Aaron Rodgers, who's trying to prove that, hey, he can win no matter who his weapons are. He doesn't need them. And then you look at the other side, and Brees has all these weapons. So overall, super fun. Just two great quarterbacks and two really solid teams from a year ago early in the season. Makes a great game. At number 3, the Dallas Cowboys travel to the Philadelphia Eagles in week number 8. The NFC East. These two teams at the top of that division that will be fighting for this division the entire season long. The Giants won't be relevant. The Redskins won't be relevant. It's all about these two teams. It has been for the last few seasons. And now you add McCarthy into the mix as the new coach here. Dak, Wentz, they'll always be compared to each other. They have more weapons around them this season. I think these two rosters are really, really talented. Two teams that really offensive line-wise are elite. It's just the NFC East. There's bad blood between the two teams. And again, two teams that are just going to be fighting for that first spot in the NFC East, and for that playoff spot in the NFC, it really doesn't get any better, any more personal than that in the game of football. At number 2, the San Francisco 49ers travel to the Dallas Cowboys in Week 15. This is going to be an awesome game. This is a old school 80s, 90s rivalry reignited. Of course, you kind of have like the new Bill Walsh 49ers vibe coming on with Kyle Shanahan, the offensive genius, and a young Jimmy Garoppolo. And you have kind of this Dallas Cowboys team that's trying to make their way up as well with Dak Prescott and now a new coach as well. The Cowboys and the 49ers. These are two of the most popular teams in America. These two teams were probably the biggest rivalry of the 80s and the 90s, and that's just going to be really fun for really the first time in my lifetime to be able to see that. And just the new elements added to this rivalry is going to be fun. And I think both of these teams are probably going to be fighting for like the bye in the NFC, or at least a very high seeding in the NFC. So that's going to be like a playoff preview for just a couple weeks away from January. The number 1 game on Sunday Night Football for the 2020 season is week number 9. Drew Brees and the Saints going to Tampa Bay. Tom Brady, should I say Tampa Bay? Brees, Brady, 2 of the 2020 season. Brady Brees 1 is week 1. But I think the real good game is going to be week 9 when Brees goes to Tampa and when these two teams are in peak physical condition in an NFL season. They have enough chemistry. They kind of are getting the sense of the season. Both coaches, they are in the swing of things. Both quarterbacks in the swing of things. Offenses lighting it up. Hopefully everyone's healthy for this one. And we can just get great football, great chess match on both sides between two great quarterbacks. And I think two elite teams in the NFC. There's so much excitement surrounding the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but the Saints are trying to prove that this is still their division, even with Brady in it. That's the number 1 Sunday Night Football game, and maybe even the best game of the year for me. And this is going to be a huge game in terms of hype all the way around. So the Saints at the Bucs, week 9 is my number 1 Sunday Night Football matchup. Hope you guys enjoyed my ranking of the Sunday Night Football games for the 2020 season. If you did, Gronk spike the like button, and of course, subscribe for more NFL rankings. It's Mitch. Peace.